Have you ever asked yourself, God, did I make a mistake trusting that person? Or maybe you've whispered through tears, Lord, if this person was meant for me, why does everything feel so uncertain? Listen carefully, because what you're about to hear might explain why things seem to fall apart, even when your heart was certain they were sent by God. God is saying, stop doubting. That person you keep trying to forget, that connection you thought was over, may still be part of His divine plan. But before you assume, slow down and listen. Sometimes God allows separation, not for punishment, but for purification. He steps back the moment we start depending on people more than Him. He steps back to see if love will survive without the spotlight. Think about Abraham and Isaac. The promise didn't die on the mountain. It was tested. And sometimes what feels like loss is simply a test of faith. You see, when God joins two souls with purpose, it's never ordinary. There's always resistance. There's always confusion, because the enemy fights hardest against divine alignment. That's why things got complicated. That's why communication broke. But here's the truth. Divine purpose doesn't dissolve because of distance. And I want you to think about this right now. Have you ever felt that quiet pull in your spirit, that nudge that keeps reminding you of them? That's not obsession. That's not weakness. That's a whisper from heaven saying, I'm still working behind the scenes. Before I go deeper, tell me in the comments below, have you ever felt like God was preparing you not to let go, but to become ready for what's next? Comment yes if you know this word is speaking to you. Now listen, the reason God is telling you not to doubt is because faith and doubt cannot share the same space. When you start doubting, you stop hearing. And when you stop hearing, you lose your spiritual discernment. James 1:6 says, "But when you ask, you must believe and not doubt, because the one who doubts is like a wave of the sea, blown and tossed by the wind." That's what's been happening. You've been tossed between hope and fear, between faith and confusion, between waiting and walking away. But God hasn't forgotten what He spoke over your life. He hasn't changed His plan because of a temporary silence. His promises are not fragile. His timing is not random. So maybe what looks like delay is divine development. Maybe that person needed to grow before they could handle your anointing. And maybe you needed to heal before you could carry the promise. Everything is connected to purpose. Nothing is wasted. And before this video ends, I'm going to reveal how God confirms when someone is still part of your divine journey and how to recognize when restoration is near. But if this message is already stirring something inside you, check the playlist in the description, God's Confirmation and Purpose for the Chosen One. Every video there will help you recognize how God speaks through signs, timing, and spiritual alignment. Now take a deep breath, because the next part of this word is going to show you exactly why you were separated and what God is preparing to restore. Sometimes God will intentionally let distance come between two people, not to end the story, but to strengthen the foundation. You may think the silence means He has closed the door, but in truth, silence is often God's classroom. He teaches you how to listen when words stop coming. He teaches you how to trust when feelings fade. Remember the story of Joseph. The dream didn't die in the pit. It was simply being processed through pain. God used betrayal, distance, and time to refine him for the promise. In the same way, that relationship, that person might be in a Joseph season, a time where both of you were being refined separately before being reunited. And here's something deep. When God separates two people He plans to use, He doesn't cancel the assignment. He simply rewrites the timing. Have you noticed how no matter how much you try to move on, your spirit keeps circling back to them? That's not emotional weakness, that's spiritual resonance. A divine connection doesn't just fade, it echoes until purpose is complete. But here's the warning. Don't chase what God is still healing. Don't force what heaven is still forming. Because if you try to reconnect before time, you'll step into confusion instead of clarity. Ecclesiastes 3:11 says, "He has made everything beautiful in its time." So maybe this is not the end. Maybe it's the middle of your testimony. Think of Peter. He denied Jesus 3 times, but the story didn't end there. Jesus restored him after the test. That's how God works. He restores what looks broken, just to prove His grace is stronger than your mistakes. So don't doubt what He showed you in the light because of what you're walking through in the dark. God is still writing. You're just in the in-between, that sacred place between revelation and manifestation. And here's a key. When God is preparing two people to reconnect, He'll start by realigning their hearts, not their phones. You'll feel peace where there was pain. You'll feel release where there was restlessness. And suddenly, small confirmations will start to appear in dreams, in verses, in random reminders that feel too precise to be coincidence. That's how He speaks. That's how He confirms. That's how He lets you know the story isn't over. Right now, someone watching this needs to hear this. The waiting isn't punishment, it's preparation. God isn't ignoring you, He's insulating you. He's protecting you from rushing into something that isn't ready to hold the weight of your destiny. Before we go deeper, I want you to pause for a moment. If this message feels like it's describing your life, type one word in the comments: alignment. Let that be your declaration tonight, because God is aligning things you can't even see. And while you're here, go to the playlist in the description, God's Confirmation and Purpose for the Chosen One. You'll find more prophetic videos that connect to this one. They'll help you understand how God moves through delay, silence, and divine timing. Now listen closely, because in the next chapter, I'm going to reveal the final confirmation signs God gives when someone is truly part of His divine plan for you, and how to recognize when restoration is near. When God begins to move toward restoration, it never starts loudly. It begins quietly, like a whisper in your spirit saying, something is shifting. You'll notice small things first. Peace will start returning. The pain that once felt sharp begins to soften. You'll stop rehearsing the hurt and start feeling gratitude for the lessons. That's not you moving on, that's God preparing your heart for a divine restart. Because before God brings two people back together, He heals the version of you that was broken when they left. He doesn't restore connections through pain, He restores through peace. Isaiah 61:7 says, "Instead of shame, you will receive a double portion." That means what you thought you lost, God intends to replace with something stronger, purer, and rooted in purpose. Now listen, one of the strongest confirmations that person is still part of God's plan for you is when your spirit begins to feel their name in prayer, not through desperation, but through peace. You don't crave them anymore, you intercede for them. You start seeing them not through your wounds, but through God's eyes.
That's when you know restoration is near, because prayer always prepares the path for reunion. Here's another sign. God will begin to speak through alignment. You'll hear sermons, verses, or even prophetic messages confirming the same theme. Wait, don't doubt, I'm still in control. He'll remind you of promises you once forgot through unexpected signs that seem too precise to ignore. But be alert. The enemy will try to whisper confusion at the same time. He'll make you question, maybe I imagined all of this. That's why God keeps saying, stop doubting, because your doubt delays your discernment. When you trust Him, you make space for His plan to unfold naturally. You don't have to chase what's meant for you. You just have to stay aligned, obedient, and at peace. And sometimes, restoration doesn't mean romance. Sometimes it's closure. Sometimes it's divine redirection. But whatever form it takes, it will always bring peace, not chaos. God never returns what will destroy your destiny. So if that person is still part of His plan, you'll both feel it. There will be a mutual spiritual awakening, not forced, not manipulated, just divine timing bringing two hearts back to the same frequency. And when that happens, it won't look like before. It will be rebuilt on prayer, purpose, and peace. Now let this sink deep into your heart. God hasn't forgotten what He promised you. You are not behind. You are not alone. He's still aligning every piece of your story. Before this word ends, I want you to do something prophetic. Type one word in the comments that resonates with your spirit right now. Maybe faith, maybe restoration, maybe trust. Let heaven see your declaration. And if this message spoke to you, don't just scroll away. Go to the playlist in the description, God's Confirmation and Purpose for the Chosen One. There's another video there waiting to strengthen your faith and help you recognize how God confirms relationships and divine timing. And if this message blessed you, subscribe and stay connected to this channel. We walk this prophetic journey together, one revelation at a time. Because sometimes the delay isn't denial, it's direction. And God is saying again, stop doubting. That person is still part of my plan for you.